This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fights. So always good to be joined with the big man, the bounty hunter, Michael Hunter. Hearing that you're in LA. Yeah, how's things, mate? How are you?
Good, good, man. I can't complain. I'm enjoying the weather, enjoying the festivities and the event, and we're here to stir some stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I guess just before we do get into that, I did want to ask about yourself. It's been a couple of months now since the Cassius Chaney fight. Obviously a victorious fight for yourself. Good to be back out there. How do you reflect on your return to the ring and being successful doing that?
I thought it was a good performance. It's these guys are a lot bigger, stronger. You know what I'm saying? So it was very hard to just to knock them out or get them out of there when they're not so engaging. So that's something that I seen in my game that I could still continue to work on. Um, but I got the job done, so I can't complain. I won every round in a dominating performance. So
Yeah. You mentioned in there about sort of Chaney being hard to knock out. And do you feel like you learn a lot when you're fighting guys who are necessarily approaching fights quite negative against yourself? You almost have to work harder, I guess, to get what you want.
yeah, well, you kind of learn something in every fight, whether it be right before something you might learn and take more of right outside the ring, or maybe it should, sometimes people stretch too much or they didn't warm up enough. Um, and also inside the ring. So, uh, for the most part, yeah, I think the thing I had to take from this was, which I've had this happen to me in other fights as well, that they're not as engaging as I would like them to be, and they're more basically there to survive and just make it through the rounds. So like you said, it's kind of a hard thing to do. You got to just go back to your drawing board and pick up do some studying and re-advising and kind of learn what you have to do, leave holes and give them a false sense of securities that they could routes that they could go. But sometimes when when you're just too much and you don't really give them no route, a man will just try to survive. So that's how it went down.
And I guess now for yourself, where you've got this win and sort of the first sort of fight you've had in a while, is it important that now where you see the moving parts of the heavyweight division that you want to be a part of that as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been here for quite some time. I've always, I don't really have no losses here, so I'm constantly, trying to improve my game and constantly getting better since I've started, my whole long journey in this career, and it'll continue. You know what I'm saying? I've been getting better. I've been getting better every day, every camp. I'm more focused, more refined. So you're just going to continue to see a better version of myself. So I feel good right now, physically, mentally, emotionally, and it's going to be hard to beat that type of Michael Hunter. So.
Definitely, and I guess it's even more important when you look at this weekend's action, where you've got two massive heavyweight fights that I'm sure do attract your interest. In Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz, and obviously Jared Anderson and Martin Bakole. Before getting on to those fights, how exciting, I guess, is it to see this weekend's card and to see sort of a great American card on LA shores?
Oh man, I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity for the fighters. The fighters, we need to support ourselves and support each other, one another a lot more. And I think this gives us an opportunity. It was cool. I got to, bump into a lot of the guys that are fighting on Saturday. Jarrell. I even bumped into, my arch nemesis,
Yeah,
Martin Bakole, which we ended up hugging it out and everything. So that was really
yeah.
pretty cool. So yeah, it's been a really cool, interesting watching the how they're doing the show down here. I had a show down here at the pier, along with the open workout yesterday. So it's a good event. The weather has been nice. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I guess before we do get on to the heavyweight fight, I did want to ask you about the main event. Israel Madrimov taking on Terence Crawford. Um, Arguably, people would say that Madrimov could be Terence Crawford's hardest test of his career so far. What do you look at this fight on Saturday?
I haven't, you know, what? I haven't seen the guy fight. I only know of Terrence, which we know Terrence's capabilities. So I think that this dude is going to be having to be on his A game. Obviously, I've seen that a lot of comments saying that the guy is so much bigger, he could be a possible threat to Terrence. Which that's why they're in there. Because he opposes some type of threat. It's a man versus a man with two gloves on. So, um, and I think he's going up in weight a little bit. So, but when I seen the little face off, Terrence seemed to be taller, and he didn't seem to be that much. He didn't seem to be smaller than him. So I don't know if that's going to be. Terrence has very long limbs, long
Yeah.
hands, long arms. You know what I'm saying? Long feet. He has very long limbs, so he can hold a big weight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. The guy is going to have to have some skill, and I haven't heard anybody really talk about his skill level just on how big he is. So I think Terrence should, get through with this with ease.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I guess we'll move on to the heavyweight fights. The first one I did want to talk about was Andy Ruiz and Jarrell Miller. Obviously, Jarrell Miller being a sort of an American heavyweight like yourself. Andy Ruiz, we know what he's capable of doing. How would you sort of look at this fight between the two fighters? Obviously, Ruiz having inactivity, Miller, sort of just coming back off of his suspension. So, yeah, how do you look at this fight between, I guess, two of the
I,
two?
I like this fight. It's interesting because we did kind of recently see Miller, but it was kind of wasn't his best performance. He was a little overweight, and when something when something comes up, must come down. So and vice versa. So we just seen him at a low, if you will, and he took it with grace. So that he's been training. If you see him, he's lost, I don't know, 70 pounds or something like that. He looks him to be back to his normal, what I'm saying, big baby self, with higher energy and stuff like that. So I think that he'll make it interesting. To see Andy Ruiz. He hasn't fought in a while. He's been trying to just get a big fight. Um, you know, Andy's a I think it's a really a kind of a toss up, but I kind of give it to. Uh, I'm not sure who to give it to be honest.
Mm.
I'm not sure who to give it to, but I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, they're two big boys, so they're going to be throwing some big bombs, at some point. So that think that's going to be very exciting for the fans to watch. And yeah, I think the fans win on that one.
Definitely. When it comes to Andy Ruiz, is it right to question, I guess, his motivation in the sport? As you say, even since he fought Anthony Joshua, we haven't really seen him in the ring much. Fought Luis Ortiz, fought Chris Arreola. Since then, that was sort of since 2019. So, is it right to question the motivation of Andy Ruiz, where we haven't seen him in the ring as much?
I think that's absolutely correct. I think obviously, he hasn't, he doesn't we haven't seen the fortitude that we would like to see from him. We know that he had it prior to the Anthony Joshua fight because of we seen fights and we seen him fight Joseph Parker and and have these close fights and push and push and push. To be on that side is a different type of grind. Once you get over and cross over and get one of those big fights, you just become more what you already are. So, I think that inside he has a little bit of lackadaisicalness, and what I'm saying. So I think that it just comes in waves. I think that's one thing I seen that he said it looked like he was eating. I don't know if it was it was a play or they were playing games, but he was eating fast food and stuff like that. Right before the fight, which we already know that that's not a great idea. We don't want him to be skinny, Andy Ruiz, because we think he's better big at big Andy. I agree with that, but just to be eating crappy food right before the fight is not going to do him any good whatsoever. So Yeah, I think it's still right to question is where he's at with in his mental state about boxing.
Definitely. Just moving on to I'm sure a fight that very much interests yourself. Former opponent of yours, Martin Bakole, takes on rising star Jared Anderson. It's definitely what is Anderson's toughest test of his career so far. Yeah, I guess a real interesting fight. Like for yourself, obviously sharing the ring with Bakole, and being victorious against him. Albeit years ago, how much do you take this into factor of looking at this fight and what are you thinking ahead of this fight on Saturday night?
Well, yeah, this is really why I'm here. I want one of these guys.
Hmm.
I want the winner. I'll take the winner. And me and Big Baby had a little, chit chat, over social media here and there. We've you know, seen each other physically and chopped it up, and what I'm saying, we have respect more. It's a mutual respect there. It ain't no beef between us. And also with Martin Bakole as well. We met yesterday, chopped it up, seen Billy Nelson, and we all hugged it out. It was cool. You know what I'm saying, just to clear the air and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think it's a big I think it's going to be a great fight. I think Anderson has. I think he's gonna do decent. He's gonna do good in the beginning, but once it gets a little hot and heated, then that's where I don't know where to take it from there as far as my vision and how I see the fight happening. But I definitely see um Bakole putting him through some type of heat.
Was you surprised that this fight happened? Because Anderson, up until this point in his career, he's been very sort of he's had a lot of strategic matchmaking. To see him take a fight where it's fair to admit that he's probably the underdog in this fight, was there some surprise of you?
No, I know that, promotional people, in the way the industry works and, there's not a lot of patience, um, you know, for up and coming fighters, especially now in the time, they want already a proven product and something that they could already sell. So, to build something and to, try to craft it, um, you know, we don't really have that too much. I think Canelo was one of the last ones, that was like that created. Anthony Joshua, I think, also. But yeah, so I think that Big Baby Anderson has the opportunity to, the promotional people are pushing him to be that guy and to be the new young up and coming American heavyweight. But I think we'll see if Bakole might have to stop that, and then you know, I know me and Bakole will be definitely fight each other for sure. I know he wants that back. So, but I think that I don't think it was a surprise at all. I think that the way the industry is, and it was just a little pressure. Now, maybe on his part, maybe on his team's part, probably didn't want it, but uh, the way the industry works, you got to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I know he wants to be great and he wants to, do great things. So, eventually he wants to get in there with some great fighters. So,
Yeah, definitely. But for yourself, right, when you look at it, and you obviously mentioned there about the Bakole rematch, which is massive. Let's say either Jarrell Miller wins, or even if Jared Anderson wins, there must be excitement to have a potential domestic, like American versus American all heavyweight clash, because it's something we haven't seen at the top level for quite a while. So there must be some sort of excitement for yourself that you want to share it with either Jared or Jarrell for an American clash.
absolutely. Like I said, I still consider myself the best, heavyweight in America, in the world, guaranteed. I just, I have to prove it and have to be seen. And so definitely to get that number one American heavyweight ranking out the way and rating out the way to fight, Anderson um, would be a good would be I think definitely a sell. I think a lot of the fans would like to see that. Like you said, it would hit pretty good over here in America. It would be very interesting, I think, for the English fans as well to see who continues to move forward. And yeah, so and then I would continue to go on and, like I said, still continue to fight these great fights. Martin Bakole, and the rest of them.
Just final couple ones from myself. When you look at the heavyweight division, you look at the landscape of it. It must be exciting for yourself that there is real opportunity now where you see obviously what Saudi are doing and what's happening in general, that you're going to be a part of this, and there is going to be big fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm still here. I'm still in the rankings. My biggest feat has probably been staying active, trying to stay active. But as far as getting in the ring and opponents, I ain't really had no problems with that. So definitely they're gonna have to constantly continue to see me, move around me, and do what they have to do to stay away from me. But they can run, but they can't hide. So we're gonna be in their face. That's why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we're gonna make something happen.
Definitely, for sure. And a last fight I did want to ask you about. It's happening on UK shores in about 6 or 7 weeks' time now. Anthony Joshua takes on Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. Yeah, I guess we've talked we've talked a lot today about heavyweight fights. How are you seeing this one playing down?
I think Anthony Joshua knocks him out. That's
Yeah,
just if I just look at it. One, I think Daniel he's strong. He has a lot of fortitude. Um, willpower. What I'm saying, he comes. His little family's in the boxing. You know what I'm saying. So he has like a something to uphold in a sense, some pride. But I think he got hit way too much in the last fight with Hergovich. Even though he just, he was using his head to block it, to block the right hand,
yeah.
which I thought was a horrible game plan. So I don't think he could do that with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua hits way harder. He's way more crisp, and he hits you with more speed. Uh, he's sharp. When it comes to those punches here and there. I've been in the ring with him, so but I think that I think Anthony Joshua knocks him out.
Yeah,
I think
definitely. Well,
Daniel Dubois puts up a good fight, but I think that at the end of it, Anthony will get the victory. It's a good fight
yeah,
for him.
absolutely. Michael, as always, a real pleasure catching up with you. Always good to get your opinion on the heavyweight division, how it is moving. And yeah, as always, mate, appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn might actually get he might get a win over my guy this time.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, he
definitely.
might get this one.
Yeah. He needs one. He needs one. That's for sure. But yeah, Michael, as always, mate, really appreciate the interview, mate. Top man.
One love. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.